Well, good morning, everybody. Well, I've had this piece of wood sitting here in my shop for forever. I don't even remember when I cut it the first time, but I've got a friend of mine that is working on a bowl on his lathe right now, and he said, I've sanded this stupid bowl probably 8 times, from 60 grit all the way up to 400 grit. Gets ready to put a finish on it, and he's using Watco Danish oil, and he looks at it in the light, and there's still scratches in the bottom. When you're using your 60 grit, you don't need to put a lot of pressure onto the piece, or you're going to get those deep scratches. If you've got tear out in the end grain, once you've turned your bowl and you start finishing it, if you put a 60 grit sandpaper disc or whatever you're using on your, in my case, a drill, and you start sanding, get that end grain clear, the tear out, and then check it. And stop right there and go from your 60 or 80 grit to your 100, 120 grit, whatever type sandpaper you're using, and see if it's still, the tear out is gone, but make sure the scratches are gone from the previous grit of sandpaper. It doesn't matter if you're doing a big bowl or if you're doing a small piece like this. This is probably 5 or 6 inches across. Okay, 6.5 inches that way, 6.5 inches that way. And while I had it, I took the chainsaw and I knocked the corners off, and it's ready to go. I've got to mount this. I could use, because it's such a small piece, I could use a worm screw. I would trust this on the lathe, but because of the diameter of the bowl, I think I'm going to just go ahead and use a faceplate and do it that way. And naturally the heater cuts on right away to make itself known. When you're making videos, it's always something that gets in the way. Alright, here I have my faceplate. This was made by Don Pencil. I've got my T25 star drive bit. It might hurt, but I don't think it'll put me in the hospital. Alright, there you go. Faceplate mounted in the center, 4 screws holding it on. A flat spot is a terrible thing for a wood turner to have, because if there's a flat spot in the shop, something gets put there. Alrighty. Now let's move this out of the way. The tailstock has a Jacob's chuck in it. And in the Jacob's chuck is a Fastener bit. And if you hit your elbow on that, I'm telling you, it hurts. Alrighty. Alrighty. Okay. Basic bowl turning, to let people know that are starting out that you can use, or you can start out with a smaller piece of wood, and that's what I suggest. If you get fortunate enough to buy a big lathe like the 3520 Powermatic that my wife bought for me about 15 years ago, don't feel like you've got to start out turning big bowls, because big bowls come off the lathe and they can hurt you. I know from past situations that have happened. Okay, what we're gonna do, bring up the lathe speed slow, and just keep going until you get a wobble. Can you hear that? That's a wobble. Now, I've got a really big bowl gouge over here that I like to use. This is made by Serious Tools. They're no longer in business, and it's really sad because they had some really good stuff. They made some really nice big tools. Put that in my handle, just snug it up, and then I'm just going to start by knocking the stuff, the bark, knocking the corners down and getting my bowl to a round shape. Alright, right here at this point, you can see there's a lot of tear out in this piece. But I've got all the bark removed. You could hear it flying out and hitting different things as it came off. Luckily, I was standing out of the danger zone, which is right here, and I'm turning from here. 95% chance that you're not going to get hit by flying debris. Now that I've used my big bowl gouge to get this knocked down, I don't need that anymore. This is made by Crown Tools. This is my short handle. It's in most of my bowl turning videos. And I'm going to take, and another thing, here's a mistake that I used to make a lot, and every once in a while I'll find myself still doing it. But if you look at a cereal bowl is shaped like this. First time turners, right off the bat, they make a bowl where they go straight up the sides and then they go straight down the sides on the inside of the bowl, and you end up with a shape, if I can get to it, there, about like that. But it's not a really good form for a bowl. Now that I've got the bowl shaped, basically the bark is off of it, I can turn up the speed. Okay, that took all of a couple of minutes, if that. Now, this has a really nice look to it, but because I have a knot right in the rim, I'm going to lose a lot of the size of this piece. But I've got a pith right there. The pith is above the rim of the bowl on this side, but once again I've got this stupid knot in the board right, or in the bowl right here. Now I kind of have a choice. Do I want to save that because that looks really cool? Can I save the pith without it cracking right here? But this is a really nice looking bowl. It's got a really nice feature to it. So I'm going to try accelerator, and now I'm going to use thick CA, maybe if I can get the top off of it. Let that set for a minute. This is dried. That's going to get turned away. Now, at this point, I've got a nice gradual curve to the bowl. That looks really good. All right. It's a nice sweeping curve. I don't want to put an OG shape on this or anything fancy. I just want to keep it nice like that, but I also want to decide at this point, oop, I gotta go to that side. Come on. I also want to decide what kind of, how I want to hold the bowl when I reverse it onto the chuck. Do I want a tenon or do I want a recess? I could have a recess in this, but I'm going to go with the tenon. I like the tenon better, especially since I found out or discovered that this is a really hard piece of wood and it's solid. So I'm going to make a tenon on here. It doesn't have to be very tall. I just need enough to be able to grab it with the chuck. Perfect, right there. It's got a small dovetail shape to it. Now I can continue to turn the outside of the bowl. Alright, I'm going to shear scrape this a little bit. Alright, now I've established my shape. It's a nice, slow, sweeping. Alright, I'm going to start out with 120 grit. I think 120 will be enough to knock this down. The wood is so hard. Look at that, 120 right there. Okay, that looks really good. Bring you over, let you see what I'm seeing. All right. Come on, hold baby. That looks really nice. There's no deep scratches because I started with 120 and it just smoothed it out. Needs some more work for sure, but looks really good. So now, we'll put you guys back over here. Next, I'm going to go to 220, or in this case, 240 is what my paper is. Okay, feels really good. There are no scratches in this at all. This piece of Russian olive really takes to sanding well. Now I'm going to 320. Yeah, buddy. And the 320 paper. Damn. Turn up my speed of my lathe a little bit. About 500 RPM. Oh wow, that's smooth as a baby's butt, and I ain't kidding. I was gonna go 400 and 600, but I don't think I need to. This really feels and looks awesome. So, put down the sander. Take this. I'll go remove the faceplate real quick and open the jaws just a little bit. There we go. Running nice and true. Get my tool rest in place. We're going to true up the face of the piece. Okay, now I want to look and see. There's a limb that runs right through the heart of this piece. I can get below it there, and I think it's glued in enough here where I can keep the good look of the knot in the side of the piece, and I'll have to put in maybe, well, maybe I can go down just a hair more and go down a little bit more here. I'll lose some height of the bowl, which I was hoping to keep, but okay, let's take this down another 1/8 of an inch. Alright, just shy of an 1/8. The pith on this end looks really good. The glue filled it in. Needs to be a little bit of buildup right here to repair this limb, so I can keep that knot. The knot looks really good in the piece. So, right here, yeah, while I'm right here now, I'm going to take, if I can find it, Alright, sanding sealer on the outside of my bowl. Alright. Sanding sealer. Tastes terrible. And now I'm going to be using Axe wood paste. I would show you that it's Axe wood paste, but somehow the label fell off the top of the bottle or jar. But trust me, this is Axe. Alright, work this in with the lathe running. And, oh, wow. I'm going to be using OB Shine Juice. OB Shine Juice is simply a mixture of denatured alcohol, shellac, and boiled linseed oil. Alright. Grab my Carter and Sons 5/8 inch bowl gouge. Homemade depth gauge. Oh, I got it. Ways to go yet. Pretty close there. I'm getting a vibration, so it's causing a little bit of ondulation in the finish. So I'm going to go to my scraper. I got my heavy duty wide negative rake scraper here. Need to come up and in just a hair. A little bit more. Alright. Let's see. Oh yeah, right there. It's not a race right here. Take your time. All right, that feels really good. And I'm sure it looks good too. Oh yeah. Alright, now get out my drill again. Go back to the 120 grit. Turn the speed down. Alright. Oh wow. Nice curve to the inside. Nice feel. Alright, that knot looks really good. That was the 120. Now we go to 240. Oh, that's, now we go to 320. Alright. Holy buckets, does that feel nice. Okay, now I'm going to use the sanding sealer again. This is just a homemade concoction. Once again, hack paste. And turn the lathe on. Bring up the speed. And now I'm going to add OB shine juice. And go to the outside one more time. Turn it on. Buff it in. Alrighty. What do you think of that? Here, I need my wrench. Get this off of here. You know, considering that that piece of wood, let's back off just a hair. There we go. That piece of wood has been sitting off the end of my lathe for 3 years, 4 years, because that's when I put this shop up 4 years ago this month. I moved in. And there's so much character in this piece of wood, you never would have expected it from what it looked like to begin with. But it's got this black, and then in the rings of the growth of the tree, it looks really good. And then here's the black in the other side of the bowl. Nice character. There's that knot. It came out really nice. Looks really good. And then that piece in the pith that I filled in with the CA glue, that turned out really nice. So put a jam chuck in my Vicmark chuck, bring up the tailstock and hold this in the center, and then take my bowl gouge and turn away this tenon and add some finish, and it'll be done. That came out really, really, really nice. I'm going to bring it up close and hopefully you can see that there are no sanding marks, no scratches in that bowl anywhere. That turned out really good. This video today is being dedicated to my buddy Dr. Kotursky. He's a wonderful man, and he wanted me to show how I was getting my finish on my bowls to look so nice. So this goes out to him. I hope he likes it as much as I do. That turned out super. All right. Everybody, my name's Kevin. Oops, here we go. There we go. Get rid of this helmet. And don't you dare fall. Okay. A quick, easy to turn bowl. Small piece. That's all you need to do starting out. You don't need to go big. I know a lot of guys think, well, if I do bigger, my wife will like it. But trust me, your wife will like a little bowl like that just as much. If you sand it till it's smooth as a baby's butt, put a nice finish on it, anybody would be proud to put that in a china hutch or on a bookshelf in the house. Little pieces look just as good as big pieces. All right, everybody, that's all I got for today. I hope you enjoy what I did. Please subscribe to my channel. Share this with people that you know that are getting into wood turning. Give me that thumbs up, and I'll see you again next week. GBY.